Chicago Bears finishing 2024 with a 5-12 record, undergoing a 10-game losing streak in the middle of the season there before they finished their last game with a win over Green Bay.
Brutal.
A lot of roster turnover, though. You bring in a guy like Ben Johnson to be your new head coach. You completely overhaul that offensive line. You bring in Drew Dahlman. You bring in Joe Tooney, and you bring in Jonah Jackson to solidify one of, if not the best interior offensive line groups in the entire NFL. And then you bring in some more skill position players through the draft, because why not? You had DJ Moore, Roma Dunze already, but why not go get a Colson Loveland, who's the best tight end prospect in the draft? Why not go get Luther Burden? So I think this offense is looking really strong. They had a great defensive personnel going into last season too. So Bears win total is set at 8.5. What are we rocking with, the over or the under?
Well, clearly the books are leaving in our hands the choice of, are they going to be a winning team or losing team this season? And that's by one game, a trend that we've been seeing. I think there will be a winning team this year, by a brink of it, though. I'm going 9 wins, 7 losses this season. 9 wins, 8 losses this season.
There it is.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Ben Johnson's going to bring a whole different culture to this team. And I see a healthy season with the Bears coming from Caleb Williams. I think he can really kind of only be better than he was last year. I know a lot of people were slightly underwhelmed with his performance, but I think they're also forgetting that, being a rock star in college is different than being a rookie in the NFL. So I think his second season magic as second season magic for Caleb Williams is gonna hit home for them, and I think Ben Johnson is exactly what they needed to tie this team together. I think I'm taking the over here, and that's just winning 9 games. I don't think any more than that.
Yeah,
no more than
he had
that.
to deal with one of the worst coaching situations in the league last year.
And still won 5 games.
He started with Flus at his head coach, and then his offensive coordinator became his head coach, and then his offensive coordinator got fired, I think, and the passing game coordinator got promoted. It was a mess. Like it was some crazy stuff. So I'll just give my quick thoughts on this, though. I think, yeah, they made a ton of improvements. I completely agree. But here's the thing. It's an incredibly tough division, and there's a lot of roster turnover here, especially in offense and coaching staff turnover. Pretty much an entire overhaul here. Like, that's what we're looking at. So I still think there's a lot of improvement to be made this year, but I think they fall just short of their line. I'm going to take the under. I think they win 8 games.
Any other division,
Not mad at that, honestly.
smashing the over. I still might take the over, but I love the changes they made. I mean, obviously, we're talking about hiring Ben Johnson, the draft picks, trading for Tooney and Jonah Jackson, I think was huge for them. Caleb was underwhelming last year. I think that's fair to say, but he was also running for his life. He had no consistency, no safety net. They had no run game. They had the 8th fewest rushing yards per game. They had the 2nd fewest passing yards per game. And like I said, some of that falls on Caleb. He's now with the best offensive coordinator in football. So you hope he can hone in some of his own issues there. He's got an elite weapons room, I'd say. And I think the second-year leap is really there for Caleb Williams. So I'm gonna go with the over here. Again, I think 9. I think they can get to 10. I think they really can get to double-digit wins, man. This is a super, super talented group. And I get what you're saying about the turnover, and they might not mesh together as well with the new coaching staff and all. But, hey, man, that's what the offseason's for. So I'm going to hope they get some of that together. But, yeah, I love the offensive line improvements. Defense was solid, but Caleb was, like I said, running for his life out there. And I think him being more comfortable with the coaching staff, more comfortable with the offensive line, having a better run game, because we know damn well Ben Johnson can scheme up a run game with a great interior offensive line especially. I think having that comfortability is going to be huge for Caleb, and I'm going to take the over.
So, yeah, I just noticed something. Dude, the Bears haven't had a winning season since 2018.
Yeah,
where they won 12 games.
Yeah,
like 2019 and 2020, they won 8 games.
That was the year.
So you're saying they're due?
I think they're due.
I don't know if that's how it works, brother.
But no, yeah. Well, my thinking really is like, they got to be sick and tired of this shit and just want to see a winning season.
They're definitely sick and tired.
Well, their fans are, I'll tell you that much.
And clearly they did everything they can, literally everything they possibly could to make this a winning season. And I think they're due. Because like I said, they haven't had a winning season since 2018. Dude, give that 3 more years. That's 10 fucking years of not having a winning season. I think this is their year. So I just want to throw that out there. A little useful information.
Throw that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I think real quick before you go, I think beating the Packers in the last game of the season to snap the 10-game winning streak is symbolic. They never beat the Packers.
Yeah.
You know? So
10-game losing. Yeah.
10-game losing streak, yeah.
I just, I don't know, man. Go
Let's
ahead.
see what Chris
I'm
got.
curious.
It's very simple for me. It was a dumpster fire in Chicago last year. It was real ugly. And they costed a lot of people a lot of goddamn money because a lot of people were taking there over last year.
People took them as a Super Bowl bet.
They did.
Nick Wright.
Nick Wright's dumbass.
Yeah.
They did.
Shout out
People
to
were
him.
all over the Bears last year. But this was not a talent issue. Talent was not the reason for their struggles last year. It was a terrible infrastructure, and we overlooked it. We overlooked Matt Eberflus. We overlooked Shane Waldron being
Yep.
not good.
We all know what you're
offensive
thinking.
We know what you're
coordinator.
We know the
thinking,
word
yeah.
you're
Shane
thinking.
Waldron not being a good offensive coordinator. We all overlooked it. We were, I don't know, I was obviously the highest on the Bears, but we were all believed in them to some extent, and the infrastructure was just not good. You replace that with Ben Johnson. This was the guy. There was no other option for them. It was Ben Johnson or bust. We said it on this podcast so many times, and they delivered. And that makes me have faith in them, that they saw that it was one guy who could turn this thing around, and they made sure they got that guy. And we know how great Ben Johnson is. Had just offensive coordinated the best offense in football last year, one of the best offenses in football last year. Completely revived Jared Goff's career. If Ben Johnson could do that with Jared Goff, imagine what he could do with a generational quarterback prospect in Caleb Williams. Because I still believe, they called me crazy a few months ago when I said it, that I said Caleb Williams still has the potential to be the best quarterback in the NFL one day. I still believe in it. And what better guy to get that out of him than Ben Johnson? One of the amazing Caleb Williams stats from last year in his ugly, terrible, atrocious rookie season, an amazing stat. 354 straight passes without an interception.
Really?
354 straight passes without an interception.
Completions?
No.
Pass
Attempts.
attempts without an
Yeah.
interception. That's hella impressive.
That is crazy.
For a rookie
yeah.
quarterback,
impressive,
it's the
yeah.
longest streak of a rookie quarterback ever in the history of football.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That
hella
says-
impressive.
That says a lot. Yeah.
For a guy who, his calling card is making something out of nothing, his improvisability, just doing crazy shit. And we saw a lot of flashes of that crazy shit. To be able to protect the ball the way he did was super impressive. And that leads me to believe that we'll see that going forward with Caleb. We'll see him be able to protect the ball. The problem with Caleb was the sacks.
Yeah.
Holding on to the ball too long. And I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, Caleb Williams is going to not hold on to the ball too long. Because that's who he is. And Ben Johnson knows that. And Ben Johnson isn't going to try and... Sure, he's going to try and get the ball out of Caleb's hands a little bit quicker. And his time to throw will go down because of design plays and stuff around the line of scrimmage to get the ball out quick. But Caleb, to be Caleb, he's going to extend plays. He's going to roam out of the pocket. He's going to hold on to that ball. That's who Caleb is.
Mhm.
But why it all changes is because Caleb went from playing with a bottom 5 offensive line group to a top 5 offensive line group. It's that simple. That much of a change within the offensive line is going to be so huge for this team. The change in the play calling is going to be so huge for this team. We know they're talented. Everyone knows they're talented. They were talented last year, and they got arguably more talented along the edges with their draft picks. To me, they're top 15 defense at worst. They're top half defense at worst. They have the potential to be a top 10 defense. They have the infrastructure on that side of the ball to be a top 10 defense. We've seen it before. They have a guy who any given season could be the best cornerback in all of football, and Jalen Johnson hanging on the wall right there. They have the infrastructure on the defensive side. They're going to take a massive leap on the offensive side of the ball. I believe in Caleb Williams taking that next level jump and asserting himself into he'll easily be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL by the end of the season, but he'll be inching up there in that 8-9, 8-7 range, and the Bears easily smash 8.5 wins.
range.
We'll be like 6-7.
Like 6-7.
But yeah, I think the Bears hit this 8.5 over under.
I think it's all great points, and I'm with you. I just think this is going to take a year. I think this is going to be a solid season. I think it may start off a little slow, This is a team that I'm actually curious to go through their schedule.
I was looking at it. The end of their schedule was rough. I mean, they're just going to have a rough schedule playing in the NFC North.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have a tough schedule.
and that's kind of part of the reason why I think like this is just 1 year too early. I just think the offensive line overhaul is amazing, and it's still got to gel too. That all has to come together. The whole coaching staff implementing a brand new system. Usually these guys not struggle in their first year with it, but it's a little bit of an acclimating period. And then the second year, they kind of hit the ground running. I think that's what's going to happen with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. I think he shows ridiculous signs of improvement this year. But it's almost like you read my mind, the whole timing aspect. Ben Johnson with Jared Goff, it was a match made in heaven because it was, this is the play, these are the reads, you're going to hit this guy at this exact moment. Will Caleb do that? I hope so. And if he does,
It's going to be a mix of both.
Yeah, he's a much different quarterback
he
than
is.
Jared Goff.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
Ben has
And
to adjust.
I think, but that's part of what Ben Johnson's superpower is. He draws up
They both got to adjust to each other. in some way.
100%.
For sure.
100%. And I think if it was, like you said, any other division, I would take the over, and I know you took the over, but any other division I'd be down for. But since it's the NFC North and this is hell, I'd take the under just by a game. But I think they'll be super competitive.
You think they win 8 games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
That's fair.
So
Vegas at it again, man.
Yeah.
Perfect
fine,
line
yeah.
once again.